I feel like the weather is kind of hot. I don't know what it is with the weather. And in the morning, it's chilly. Sometime in the middle of the night, you get the wind howling and you're thinking, is the Hamatan shy? Come out already. But then in the afternoon, it starts to burn you like he has an agenda to finish
really,
you.
It's really hot. The sun in Abuja is terrible,
hot.
yes. That's why it's important to stay hydrated, because you feel yourself feeling faint. You would feel weird. You would feel pissed off about little things because you
highly
are
irritable.
Yes.
I was having a conversation. Imagine talking about Nigeria under the sun.
No.
I could feel my makeup melting on my face.
Moving away.
It wasn't funny. You don't discuss Nigerian problem under the sun. Stay under the shade. But you know what? We'll get to a future where we don't have to talk about problems. We'll be talking about, the Nigeria of our dream also.
Right?
Yeah. I look forward to that day. And like Martin Luther King, I have a dream.
We all have dreams. We can't wait for the dreams to come through, because, come on.
All right, people. It's your passionate, trustworthy conversational radio, Nigeria Info FM, and I'll say Abuja. Welcome to Hard Facts. My name is Kimberly. Watch, could just call me Kim, the oracle, the digital oracle, that is, the fellow OTF Madam Speaker, and I'll say yes to them all. Man in Black is
and
here.
You can call me Itodo. I mean, some people decide to call me master or evangelist or deacon. Or uncle. But if you call me Zaddy, I'm giving you Naira notes. But I do not recommend that right now, because cash is scarce. But yes, it totally just works for me right now. Welcome. We're going to have a good time having conversations. Today, it's a couple of days to the elections. About 3 days to the elections, and it's something we've all looked forward to for the longest.
Yeah.
And there's so much happening right now, but we're hoping, and based on the reaffirmations we've been getting, that there'll be no postponement and the elections will hold on February 25th.
INEC have just repeated themselves over and over and over again that the election would hold. They do not have any plan to postpone the election. And I know where people are coming from. It was postponed in 2019. It happened in 2015. Security reason, logistic reason. And so people are thinking maybe this cash crunch is going to be another reason. But INEC is saying we're all good, this side of it. And we're keeping our fingers crossed, holding our breath, that we are going to have a peaceful, smooth election on Saturday.
Yes, we are. We've got a guest with us today, and together we'll go through the Roundtable and touch on headlines making the rounds in Nigeria. Today, our guest is Tony Idoko. He's a lawyer and public affairs analyst. He's been here before, so he's not a first timer. Great to have you on the show. How's your week feeling right now?
It's good.
Are you looking forward to the elections?
Of course.
Okay. And do you have cash by any means? I mean, I'm always open to hearing experiences.
That's the question I guess before started.
Yeah.
Nobody even wants to admit. You don't want him to be mobbed.
We get it. We get the answer from your reaction. That
he
that
pleads
works.
the fifth on this one. He's not going to disclose if he has cash on him or not. But thank you so much, sir, for making it on the show. And together we're going to look at some of the big stories driving conversation. And one of the stories that set fire to social media space is the fact that the wife of the president somehow tweeted or put out a post on Instagram that is fake news. I mean, you had the CBN putting a big fake news stamp on it, telling you do not listen to her. And it got Nigerians talking like, wow.
How could she do that?
The wife of the president too?
I mean, a lot of blogs ran with that headline initially, but then looking side by side at the format with which CBN writes or puts out their statements, there were things that people could point out and know that it was fake news.
What they did was kind of doctored, maybe use PDF editor and then just removed some words and rephrased it. But then it was looking shabbily done. The minute I saw it, I felt there was something off. I just knew on the spot that it had. But the question is, how could the wife of the president make such a mistake? More than ever, everybody wants to be careful with what they put out.
Now, we're wondering if indeed she is the one who handles that verified account on Instagram. And if not, she would maybe have given a go-ahead, a final say to the person who would have gone on to post that particular fake news, that the 500 Naira and the 1,000 Naira notes can be used right now, and there's an extension of 70 days up until May 10th. So that it's a bit worrisome, the fake news that we get these days. But then again, it's our duty to ensure that we do not fall for these things and we're able to tell firsthand, that we do not also encourage it by resharing on WhatsApp and Twitter and Facebook and all of those platforms out there. But let's get your initial thoughts. What sort of panic or maybe excitement that particular news story could have cost Nigerians before CBN put out that statement?
Well, thank you very much. Let me say that coming from that very big office, that looked very uncool. I think she inspired a hopeless hope, a false hope, I think that giving that high office, I think they should have fact-checked, You don't just... I want to believe that the First Lady will not have a phone where she's, posting all of those things. I think she has staff who handle that for her. That was very, very, very unfortunate. It was just like something that happened, I think, was it yesterday, about one of the spokesmen of the APC, of the presidential candidate of the APC that posted a fake... he thought...
He ran with the headline of the video that was posted.
Exactly, and then he now later found out that what he posted was fake. An attempt to bring it down was late because it had already gone viral. And I thought that, you wonder, you didn't check, you just reposted. No. Sometimes, there are times when I share some things on Facebook, and I take a second look at it and I say, wait, first, check this thing up before you just start following the bandwagon and all of that. So, I try to go and check, and when I'm not sure, I take it down immediately, So I thought that was very unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. That office, you don't just share things out of excitement, okay? You need to check. And, First Lady's office, I expect that the First Lady's office will be very close to the President's office. And you know that Emefiele cannot, the CBN will not do that if they did not get a directive from the President. So that's coming from the First Lady's and the First Lady's office and the President's office. Not really one, but in a sense, there's still one, So they should have checked around within them. This thing, is it true? Look at this. But to quickly share it. But it was a mistake.
But then some people will tell you, might come up with an excuse and saying, I was hacked, and somebody put it there because it's not out of place for some people to just want to break into someone's accounts that would definitely generate that kind of buzz and put sort of...
But they haven't said that.
Well, so far so good. I haven't seen any statements.
So I want to believe it was a mistake. If it was a mistake, accept it and let's move on.
But could this be preempting?
Because the problem we have in Nigeria is that you've made a mistake. You want to start spinning some other stuff. Just accept that it was a mistake. You are human. Sorry.
Now, we know she has been very vocal about mistakes made by the president, actions taken by him as well in the past. But then again, could this be preempting what would play out tomorrow? We know that the president has not necessarily obeyed the ruling of the Supreme Court. And last week, the hearing was moved till tomorrow, which is the 22nd of February. Is it possible that maybe they had a conversation and she's trying to preempt what could play out?
Too fast. I think that's left for us to see. I don't think so. I don't see anything that's going to change, personally. I think the president has made up his mind what he wants to do. And I think things are going to remain the same. I don't see any change at all. We just have about 3 or 4 days to elections. I don't know. I think it's going to be the same.
All right. Things will stay the same, and it's staying the same. There are a lot of things that are changing also because of the development around some of these policies.
Yes.
But
because I think it was from Addis Ababa that the president made a video recently again, and he's still appealing to Nigerians. I understand what you're going through. Just calm down, and all of that. I think he has tried though this time. He has made a few video messages, for him to make a video still begging Nigerians. I think he has tried.
Well, definitely would have fed him with the updates happening back home, that there's fire on the mountain, your country is burning, people are burning banks, burning buildings, already 13 people have died. So it's not a matter of trying, he's the CNC. And then if there's this level of tension, he must try to address it.
Our president that we know in the past will not, from the far, after was it not a few days ago? Was it last week that he made a broadcast? Yes. And then he will do another one from, he will not waste his time. But for him to still be appealing to Nigerians, I would say, well, the man is trying. He's tried. For him to do that again, if he was going to change anything, I think maybe he would have stated it maybe he would have seen it from that message. Just making
but
an
then,
appeal.
even from the message broadcast, was it about just appealing to Nigeria or addressing the politics of the situation? Because there's been a lot of rumor mills and stories and speculation from critics who are saying the president's body language does not look like he wants even his party to win and the presidential candidate. So it was more of, even though I'm not running in this race, but my party is in it, so support my party. I felt that was more of the crux of the message and the appeal for calm.
Well, probably because he's not going to have another opportunity again to stand before the crowd and at rallies. I don't think there's going to be any other rally again that would need his appearance. And so maybe he just, let me just use this opportunity also to, because he has been accused, of really not working for his party. In fact, even the accusation is even by his party members, saying he's working against us and all of that. So he just said, well, maybe let me just assure Nigerians I'm not working against my party. Okay? And so maybe that's why he added that. Okay.
Right, candidate is in the race. We're talking about party members. They're putting pressure on Malami over the Supreme Court order.
Okay, now, ahead of tomorrow's Supreme Court sitting on the suit filed by the governors against the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN currency swap, the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, is not leaving anything to chance in enforcing the Apex Court's order over the controversial Naira swap policy. Now, yesterday, the APC National Chairman, Abdullahi Adamu, held a crucial closed-door meeting at the Secretariat of the party in Abuja with the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN, alongside the three aggrieved APC governors who sued the federal government to challenge the February 15th deadline on the usage of the old 200, 500 and 1,000 naira notes. Nasser El-Wafai of Kaduna, Yahaya Bello of Kogi and Bello Matawale of Zamfara. The meeting is coming on the heels of Sunday's meeting of APC leadership with the Progressive Governors Forum, where they called on the President, the AGF and the CBN Governor to respect the order of the Supreme Court on the Naira redesign policy. Now, rights activist and senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, has written to CBN demanding details of the amount of new Naira notes distributed to commercial banks across the country. He also demanded that the CBN should provide a list of customers who have withdrawn more than 100,000 Naira maximum sum approved by the Apex Bank. Now, the CBN has maintained that it printed enough new 200, 500 and 1,000 naira notes to go around, blaming politicians for hoarding the new notes. And there's no telling how much was printed because they haven't given that information yet. Since, these new notes were released, a lot of people have not been able to get access to them. And this has led to the president requesting for the recirculation of the old 200 naira note. But let's get to understand not obeying the Supreme Court's order, where they mentioned that the old note should not be banned yet until the hearing is done with, and we have the case adjourned till tomorrow. What are the repercussions of disobeying the Supreme Court by the president, who
And just piggybacking on what he's asking, because I asked a question at a program I went to today, and they were talking about jurisdiction. It had some legal minds who were saying, did the Supreme Court have the jurisdiction in the first instance to go there? So I would really love your perspective. Is it a question of jurisdiction and then someone undermining the Supreme Court, or what exactly is the interplay here?
When it comes to the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, particularly when in a matter between the state and the federation, or between two states, jurisdiction. Okay. Particularly with but if you look at the law books strictly, you would say Supreme Court has no jurisdiction. Okay? But I am of the view that the Supreme Court has jurisdiction. Because you see, the Supreme Court, we all say, and like we know, and like we are taught, it's not just a court of justice. It's the only court that doesn't just dispense justice. Okay? I'm sure you'd have heard it a lot of times. It's also a court of policy. Okay? And so, if the Supreme Court, that is the highest court in the land, does not have jurisdiction, I think the Supreme Court has jurisdiction in almost every matter. There's no matter that you can actually seize the Supreme Court of jurisdiction. Now, if you look at it, and then people are forgetting, yes, what is written in the law is that the Supreme Court might not have jurisdiction. But they forget that the Supreme Court, we have the law that is written, and we also have what is called case law. A decision of the Supreme Court becomes a law. It's a law. Okay? It's not every law that in fact, you can write we can even have a law written in black and white, and Supreme Court can reverse it, even if it is written. Supreme Court can declare a provision of the Constitution null and void. And what the Supreme Court says becomes the law. Okay? So if Supreme Court has said we have jurisdiction, what is written, it means going forward on matters like this next time, it means Supreme Court now has jurisdiction. So I don't see why you can say Supreme Court has jurisdiction in every matter. I even recall there was a time when, you remember the Salami issue, when there was supposed to be an appeal. It was a case that was at the Court of Appeal in Sokoto. And so the Salami was the president of the Court of Appeal then. And at that time, governorship cases stopped at the Court of Appeal. Court of Appeal was the final court. Okay? And then there was this issue they had at this disagreement, and then a petition was written to the CJN then. I think it was Justice Aloysius, what's his name now? The CJN then, who the one from Benue State. He was the CJN then. And when it was written, the Supreme Court took over the matter from the Court of Appeal. It has never happened because the law says all governorship appeal cases stopped at the Court of Appeal.
Let's just
it was
pause
only
you
the
there.
presidential appeal, only the presidential panel. It was only the presidential appeal that got to Supreme Court.
Okay, let's
But
go on a
Supreme
quick
Court took it
break.
over.
Let's go on a quick
And
break
it
right
became
now.
a
When we come
precedent.
back, we'll have you finish your thoughts.
Okay, thank you. Precedent.
Yeah.
A matter that was supposed to stop at the Supreme Court, at the Court of Appeal, the Supreme Court took it over. Okay? And even though it had not happened before. Well, it happened. And then that became a precedent until they now changed the law again and then allowed, because I think a lot of things were happening at the Court of Appeal and people were not satisfied. They felt that, no, this thing cannot stop at the Court of Appeal. They had to change it so that matters again can go back to the Supreme Court. That's why governorship cases are now going to the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court is supreme. Okay?
But
whatever it does is final.
This
you can't
sense
challenge
of
it.
supremacy is a concern. Maybe because I'm not a legal mind in that sense. Because sometimes there's that resistance to saying, is the Supreme Court infallible? I mean, we'll take you back to Imo State and Supreme Court. So Nigerians are still trying to just get their head over, accept the fact that 4 became 1, and then this is happening. So it looks at Who calls the Supreme Court out? Whatever they put out is sealed.
Final.
Nobody contests it.
Nothing. Nothing. It's final and it's final.
Wow.
Except maybe if it has to do with maybe in criminal cases, then maybe the Council of State can grant a pardon.
Okay.
That's also in the law. But apart from that, what if the Supreme Court has adjudicated on the matter? It is final. There's nothing. Only the Supreme Court can reverse itself.
Wow.
Yes, and it's very difficult for it to do that in that same case. It might have to be another case that has similar issues. Then you can look at it and say, no, well, in that case, in the other one, we made a mistake, or maybe maybe the something changed, shifted a little. Then they cannot. But apart from that, even after the judgment, if it realizes that we shouldn't have done that, once it's gone, it's gone.
Now, before the governors took the president or took the case to court, they had a meeting with the president where he promised to look into the matter and be giving 7 days. But before the 7 days elapsed, we saw that the case had gone to court already and there was already a temporary injunction on the case. Could that have been the reason why the president refused to pay attention to this temporary order given by the Supreme Court? And also, these governors have also gone on to give residents of their state an order and instruct banks to keep collecting these old notes. But we've seen protests break out in some of these states. Now, the fact that the refusal of these banks to accept this old denomination could be the reason for this protest happening in the states. For instance, in Ogun State, Shagamu, yesterday there was a protest. And videos making the rounds showed some people holding envelopes that had the old 1,000 naira notes and said to have been given to them by the office, allegedly by the office of the governor or agents who work in the office of the governor. All of this, just goes to show that the governor's actions or some of their actions could be encouraging this protest and could also be putting the elections at risk.
Yeah, very true. You notice that there are hardly protests in the north. There are no protests, no bank, no one is burning bank in the north. It's usually from even though I know that a few governors from the north are also involved in the court cases, but I don't know how the people from the north, the electorates, how they've been so self-possessed that they are not protesting or rioting and all of that. They're just calm. Okay, now you see, Nigeria is. I wouldn't use the word lawless, but we don't seem. I don't know why our country is like this. We're just in a place where you can do anything that you want and get away with it. If you are strong enough, if you are powerful enough, you can get away with it. Okay, if not, if the president has spoken concerning an issue, you will not understand. You will not expect a very serious issue like this. Okay, this is not normal politics at play. Okay, you not expect governors, particularly governors of his party, to be opposing him in their different states and saying that whatever the president has said doesn't matter and all of that. But see, Nigerians are wiser. Okay, they know that you can't enforce what you are saying. You don't have the apparatus to enforce it. It's the president that has. President has spoken through the CBN governor. He has all the security agencies. They're not at your beck and call. You don't control them. So if president says something, if you follow a governor, you are doing it at your own peril. And notice that even the people that were collecting those envelopes, they were also, there was some kind of, they were a little skeptical.
Sharing their fears about not being able to spend
this one that were collecting because they know. But it appears as if, the way I see it is like these guys, they already have this money. They already have it. And that's why I don't even understand all this. We must change this money. Look, haven't you been preparing? I know Nigerian politicians, they've been preparing for this governor. In fact, the moment a governor is sworn in, he starts working for the election immediately. So apparently they have had this money down.
Yeah.
So now that the president has come up with this policy, they don't know what to do. The money is there. The money is going to get bad, and there's no way they can take all these billions to CBN. So I think what they have decided to do, they decided to do is to say, okay, you know what? Let's just share the money and let's just start the vote buying now. Okay, instead of waiting till election day, hoping that maybe if they collect it now, even on election is not too far. Maybe if they collect it now, they can still vote for us. That's why they brought out those monies, you know. And I don't know why Nigerian politicians think that they must buy vote. Why do you think that if you don't give me money, I cannot vote for you? Okay? And, well, I don't know how they see us, the electorate. It's really demeaning, okay, that I have to pay you, I have to give you 5,000 for you to vote for me. And so once you get in, you start stealing money, you start keeping money, you know, so you can give us for 5,000. It's also demeaning of you as a governor, okay? It shows that you cannot win election. It shows you are not important. It shows you have very little value, self-value, that you think that particularly after we have allowed you to be governor for 4 years. For 4 years, even after 4 years, you still have to give people money to vote for you. Look, I ask this question. If nobody gives us money, we're still going to vote. Okay? Because where we are now is as if Buhari has equalized everybody, all the big politicians. I saw a politician who was crying, a House of Reps man crying on TV and saying that, look, the law allows me to spend 70 million on my life and I want it in hard copy. Who says that? Which law says you must have the money in hard copy?
Yeah.
No law says that. The law only says you're entitled to 70 million naira to run for House of Reps election. The law did not say that the money must be in cash. It didn't say that. So I wonder how he had that effrontery to come on TV and even say, this is a lawmaker, and say, I want my money in cash. No, that's not in your hands. Don't you have cashless policy anymore? Didn't you people make the law about cashless policy? And then people saying, you know, we have agents all over the country. They need to eat, so we need to give them money. People who will be... Come. Can't you pay whatever you want to pay? Can't you pay online? Can't you pay whatever you want? If you want to give the agents maybe 50,000 or 10,000, can't you transfer that online? And even these little people, they're even carrying POS now. So, there are some remote areas where it's very difficult to access cash. Okay, why can't we just exempt those areas? Okay, we have so number of areas. These areas we cannot do. And then we'll try and see how you can, you know, maybe create a sort of how do I put it now? You know, to see how you can help those ones who you think are in so remote areas that it's difficult to transfer. But let's face it. Is there anywhere that...
Oh, there are some places. I'm going to preempt you on this question, sir. There are a lot of places where it's difficult to actually do some of these transactions.
Is it because of this, what's going on?
No, generally.
Okay.
The infrastructure has just been very poor for a lot of these banks to do a lot of the transaction and then the network providers. So I think with the volume that is on them at the moment, they were not ready also for it. And so we get, even in places where we normally do e-transaction, you can already see the hiccups there. And you ask a question like, 4 years, how come they will still need to vote by? You ask yourself, in the 4 years, what have they even done?
Why would you give... Look, I always say...
No, because you see mediocre leadership. There's no accountability, no transparency. You haven't done anything tangible. You start to second guess yourself. That's why money will come in.
Yeah, you see, but the thing is, why... Well, you've not done anything tangible in 4 years.
A good number of them.
But do Nigerians even know what they deserve? Do we really know where we want of these people?
I think, I understand. It's really a shame, okay, that after ghosting the people for about 4 years, now you want the only alternative is that you have to pay them to vote for you. But you see, I think Nigerians have gotten wiser. You know, I think slowly, Nigerians are getting better. You know, they are beginning to understand better. Because listen, the man who is giving you 5,000, do you know that in this election, there's a way they spread this money? In this election, there are people that will collect 100 million. That's their role in the election. Okay? There are people that will collect 50. There are people that might even get 500 million. There are people that will get... And then you, who is at all this while, you've been at the short end of their stick. You who determines whether this man becomes a governor or minister or governor or a senator or whatever. They now come and give you maybe 3,000 or 5,000. I think it's an insult. Okay? And see, it's not about whether... It's not poverty. It's not just poverty. Because I saw that woman in Anambra State. If you saw that video during the election, the Anambra State governorship election, if you saw that video, that woman was not... just one ordinary woman who rejected the 5,000 that was given to her and said, no, She didn't. She could have collected the money and then gone to vote her conscience. And also, but I mean, she had a higher standard. I wouldn't even collect the money. Because with 5,000, I mean, she could have prepared a good pot of soup.
But with the cash crunch right now, if you're giving 5,000, you would...
said no. She rejected it outrightly. I don't know, because I don't want to vote for this party. The party that I want to vote for, they didn't give her anything. But that's the party that is in her heart. That's the party that she feels for. That's the party that she voted for. She rejected it. And that woman, and I mean, where there are people, you look at them and you see that the problem is not poverty. The problem is that they are just not well. I think what we are now is sickness. It's sickness. Because when you see people who look, you can see that they have made so much money even from this system. But yet, they still need to deliver their areas, their constituencies. So you go and collect 600 million, you go and collect this one. And out of all this money, I tell you the truth, all this money, when they give them that money, what they release is very small. They give you, say, go and deliver your concern, they give you 500 million. You go there and give them 50 million or 100 million and keep the 400. That's what they're doing.
Half the time doesn't
and you look at these people, you know that they are not people. Well, I think it's poverty of the mind. I agree. If it's about the mind, they are just poor in spirit and everything. If not, but it's really bad that after we gave you a mandate for 4 years, you still have to give us money. No, it shouldn't be before we vote.
When we should be the ones excited to have you
and
back.
I don't know where they're getting this thing from. And these are people, they travel a lot. They see how this thing happens in other places. And this money is not your money. We didn't say, it's not like, okay, you know what, I'm going to be your governor. Then after we elected you as governor, you now went around looking for money to come and help us. No. We made you governor, and then we took our money again and gave to you and said, look, use this money to run the state. Okay? Use the money to pay salaries, use the money for development, use the money. Sometimes, okay, even when you need to go and borrow money, you are still borrowing on our behalf. You understand? You go and borrow billions and you come and then after you are giving us the money again to come and vote for you. You are not well, and we are also not well for collecting all those people are collecting those monies. Okay? Because if you didn't get that for those people, they didn't give you, if they didn't have the fort, they will not die. They're not even hungry. If you look at them, they didn't look very hungry. You understand? But it's just like when you go to a party. When you go to a party and they're sharing all these souvenirs, you see people, sometimes when they fight for small souvenir, you wonder, these souvenirs, sometimes they're just 500, 1,000 in the market.
But everybody wants it.
Fight for afford it.
They like this awoof, this free something. You understand? It's free, so let me just collect it. No. I think we need to.
All right. Before we move on to the next story, let's just look at some comments.
Yes, let's do that.
Thoughts in.
We're live on Facebook and YouTube right now at Nigeria Info Abuja. Ensure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel and click on the little bell to get notified when we are online. Going straight to YouTube. Kim, always looking beautiful. Nigeria Info, my on-point station. That is from Smith Daniel. Hello, Ibrahim Hajara. Asira Abbas says it's eccentric that this information is coming from the First Lady. The truth is that Nigerians are suffering because of the CBN policy. Nigerians need a new president that knows how to take charge. Patience Anyam James. Asking about the code of conduct. Not sure. Could you kindly resend this message so we're certain what you are asking? And Lawal Mohammed says, Kim, you need to tell me how you are able to leave that big smile on your face at a time like this. What's the secret? Okay, on Facebook right now, Samson Abiola Afeso. The post made by the First Lady concerning the new Naira is not a mistake for me. It's well calculated, an attempt to softly rub salt on the injuries of those against the policy, especially the governors who took the precedent to court. Hello, Kazim and King J. Akason. Thank you for your messages.
And Joel Ugochukwu Cyril says, Mr. Idoko is very articulate and brilliant. I love his analysis. It's very clinical. Well done job. Watching live from Enugu. Obi Bada says, the natural adaptation to the mode of life by an organism is to change, adjust, adapt, move or die. I'm glad that a lot of people are embracing lesser cash economy via internet and online and POS. I'm more excited that the wake of 5G technology will make things easier. Pumping more will render the lesser cash policy inert. So at this juncture, more cash is not an option. Obi Ibada is in a world of his own.
Wow.
He's telling you, but yeah, that's what we should be talking about. Sadly, the pain is a whole lot more than all of this. Let's, take some messages.
All right, Obedient Manamaker from NNPC Towers. This is where we found ourselves right now, in a country where those crucifying Nigerians against fake news are those generating and sharing fake news to the good citizens of the country. So who is fooling who? We are watching with our eyes wide open because we are now wiser than ever. How could the wife of the president fabricate that fake news behind a keyboard and see it fit to put out on public domain? With her action, it simply means that things are falling apart from top to bottom and from bottom to top. It's a pity.
Okay, is that all we have?
We've got a lot more. This is asking a question. Does the Supreme Court have jurisdiction over a matter that has never been entertained at a lower court? Is the Supreme Court a court of first call? That's part favor from Maraba. And Virtue from Aso Drive says, I'm a little confused and in fact perplexed. One moment we hear Buhari telling Nigerians he wants to see a free and fair, credible elections, that Nigerians would elect their leader through a transparent system, void of vote buying, and the results will be acceptable to all parties. In the same breath, he is telling us and raising Tinubu's hand on campaign grounds, saying this is your next president. To even make it more confusing, we hear that all this cashless is targeted at the APC presidential candidate because he's not Buhari's original candidate. Hence, he doesn't want him to win. To me, all of these are falsehood and conspiracy theories. Virtue from Aso Drive.
All right, just before we get there, let's take 2-3 calls and then we get to the next story with our guest. 0700 951 0000, or you can call 0809 9930-137. That's our WhatsApp number also. You can try 0809 5974 869. 60-second tops, please. Hello.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon.
Welcome to you.
Yeah, Itodo, how are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Okay, good. This cash flow on the line. So, yes, I just want to talk about, what your guest, the point you made about leaders have to pay the citizens to get him back to office. It is sad indeed. Like, there's no trust to tell you that, just like you said, they've gone stuck for 4 years, and of course, knowing they've not delivered on, what they're supposed to do, what do you expect them? They have to buy us back. So there is no trust, and they know they haven't, done, the things they're supposed to do. So it is a sad situation that we have leaders who cannot even deliver on their mandate or do what, is inspired of them, and they have to find citizens. So it is a sad situation, and we need to do something about it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Itodo and Kimberly and our guest. This Honorable Minister of your mic.
Go ahead.
Yes, my question is this. As this case now is in the Supreme Court, so lawyer, is it why the governor of Kaduna State, is it right, as he said, that they should go ahead and they use that money, which Mr. President said that they should not use the 1,000 and the 500 on Thursday before travel? Is it wise like that? Because yesterday, as of yesterday, some of the civil servants were receiving this old money yesterday in Kaduna. Number one. Two, Kimberly, after the answer of this question, I need our senator, or Joseph Carlos, said there is no money to cook food in his house. Please.
I should send him money. All right, that's the Honorable Minister of your mic. Let's hear this caller.
Welcome to you.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, this is Hola Indomitable calling from Lugbe. Hello?
Go ahead, Ola.
Yeah, with regards to the video posted by the First Lady, I'm not sure it's a mistake. It is not a mistake, just like some other people have said. Now, there are insinuations from different quarters to the effect that, the meeting they had yesterday, the meeting of the chairman of APC and some governors with Malami yesterday, resulted into an agreement for the Supreme Court case to be for that case to be settled out of court. And what that means is that there's every likelihood, they will revert to the Supreme Court injunction tomorrow when they convene tomorrow. And by that, the whole 1,500 naira notes are likely to be allowed for this election. I'm praying that it does not happen, but that's what we're reading. That's what I read in the news. So it's like the woman got a snippet of that particular decision or that discussion, and that was why she posted it. So just like what somebody said, she was just trying to test the waters, or perhaps just hint us ahead of time. But let's see what's going to happen tomorrow.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, there are a lot of speculation as to why. Why is this First Lady and all of that? We get to see how it pans out by tomorrow, if it does happen, or if the president is going to stand his ground on this. Well, talking about standing ground, INEC is standing its ground that it's going to be free, fair, credible election. And it's not just giving the assurances to Nigerians. It's also telling the international community that in spite of all that is happening, election is going to be credible. Itodo?
Now, Yakubu also commended the Commonwealth Observer Mission's contributions to the development of Nigeria's electoral system. He said that Nigeria had benefited a lot from the Commonwealth through the implementation of recommendations in its reports on Nigeria's previous elections. He said that INEC looked forward again to the mission's robust reports on the next general elections. Now, earlier in his remarks, Mbeki said the mission was in Nigeria to observe the country's election and in the end make its report. There have been worries across the board about a possible postponement because INEC mentioned that they didn't have enough cash to pay logistics. They needed cash to pay those who will be handling logistics on election day. But CBN promised that today, being Tuesday, even though we haven't gotten an update to that yet, that they will make cash available just in time for the elections. The president has also constantly stated that security agencies should ensure that things are in top shape for the elections. And the defense chief has also given a statement to that effect, that they are ready for the election and there's nothing to worry about in terms of insecurity. With this constant reassurance of a free, fair and credible election, and INEC stating that it doesn't want to disappoint the international community because they are looking forward to how Nigeria will play out during the election and how we'll comport and conduct ourselves to ensure that we have a fair election. In the coming days, what can INEC do differently just to ensure that the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, and everything is somewhat perfect in time for Saturday?
Well, yes, I want to agree, and I believe INEC that INEC is. I think INEC has tried. I believe the election is going to be not so peaceful. Okay, given our idiosyncrasies and how we are here. But I think that maybe a few skirmishes, but I believe that largely the election is going to be peaceful because people want to vote. And people are tired, Yeah. People are so tired that students even want to go home. They even had to beg for schools, for the authorities, to give them a short break so that they can go home, and vote. And I am happy that I don't know whether I should credit President Buhari for that, but if the president didn't want it, I'm sure the federal universities, they'll just through the Ministry of Education, they'll say no. So still, because if it's bad, we'll say it's Buhari. So now that it's a good one, let's also give him the credit. Okay. So they'll be willing to suspend academic activities to allow the students go and vote. And I also believe that the body language of the president is that he wants this election to hold. Okay. And so that's why he's doing everything possible. And so far, we cannot accuse him of favoritism. We cannot accuse him of doing anything untoward. We cannot, except that people have said it's speculation anyway that there may not be election. That there are people.
But isn't the speculation also coming from a place where we've seen this happen before? INEC gave assurances right up until 48 hours before the election, and last minute, midnight, election day, they said for logistic reason, which they never accepted in the past, was a problem. Even though the 2015 one, there was some bit of days heads up to say security is a factor.
Yes. With in 2015, we were not so surprised.
Yeah.
Okay, and then also it was also political, because it appeared as if the APC came like one powerful bulwark against them. You know, the propaganda, the politics and everything. So it was clear that if election was held at that time, you know, before the postponement, it was clear that PDP was going to lose that election. So PDP needed to take a breath, you know. They needed a little space, you know, so they had to use that excuse to postpone the election for 6 weeks. And then after some weeks, they said, okay, they had done some good job in the Northeast in an election. But this time, even the abductions have gone down, you know. And so everywhere is looking a little calm, except for the protest, the handful of protests in the South, you know, in some areas, some states in the South. And that's not big enough to stop election. In any case, if you look at this Naira policy, notice that a lot of Nigerians, despite the hardship, they seem to welcome it. You talk to some of them, because there's this perception, okay, that it's meant to curb vote buying. And so they think that, particularly those who are supporting some candidates who they think that don't have that, that would to them, those who appear disadvantaged, okay? Yeah. And so they think, so they are happy. They say, I hear people say, well, you know, let's just bear the whatever we're going through, the hardship for a while, it's just for a while, you know, and all of that. So they're telling, okay, look at, it was Ola who called now.
Let's go
who called.
Let's go to a quick break before we have you complete your thoughts.
For talk, Nigeria Info.